All right, cleaning the lines with Carly.
Okay, first step, turn the temp right off about half an hour before you're ready to clean so that the temperature climbs basically, so that it's not too cold, otherwise the solution will freeze.
And where's the dial?
The dial is under here and it gets turned towards you and you'll slowly see this temperature increase, so to speak. Next, 30 litres of cold water in here. Into this bucket, which...
30 litres in there?
Yep, which is stored in the safe room up the top on the shelf. That's specifically for beer line cleaning only. DP1, DP2, these are your beer line cleaners. They are kept out the back with all the other chemicals. And I have written the measurements on the beer line only measuring jug. So for every 5 litres of water, it's 100 mils of each. So 600 mils of each. Pour a bucket of water, add 600 mils, rinse this out, pour another bucket of water, add 600 mils of the next one, rinse it out, and then add your last bucket. Don't ever mix the raw chemicals together.
So the
600 mils of one, rinse this out with some water, pour it in there, and then take that to your bucket, and then 600 mils of the next one. Don't ever go 600, 600, give it a rinse first because you could. Next step. There is also an old instruction thing that Pam wrote years ago. Sometimes it's easier to watch, and I did write that as well. Okay, so flip the tap up on every keg. Now back out again. And all we're doing now is drawing out all the residual beer that's left in the lines.
It's a bit of a waste, isn't it?
You've got to put it through the till as spillage as well, so that we can account for it. This connection here, which is connected to the water line, that gets connected tomorrow again to the water line to flush all the chemicals out. So that...
Is that just part of the cleaning process?
This is part of the cleaning process. So tomorrow when the lines get flushed, that'll get plugged back in there and it'll stay in there until they get cleaned again.
Yep.
So that goes into the detergent out. The gas line from the nearest keg gets plugged into the gas in. This little dooflicky goes in there, and then you can prime the water because that's going to suck up that water now back into the lines. That's not really... Oh, sorry, missed a step. Plug these into the wall first.
And you're doing this every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks. Sometimes you can't get it done like 3 weeks. Sometimes they can go to a month, so long as you're not seeing any residual bits in your beer. Ideally every fortnight, and I do them on a Monday night, but that might not be, you know, doable for everybody. Sometimes it was done on a Tuesday night after darts, so it just depends what's going to work best.
So now you click that switch.
Yep. So what this is doing is just priming that water back into the lines.
Yeah.
And you do that with all of them.
And then you're flicking that switch back.
Yep, because what will happen is it'll head into the overflow bucket. If you don't flick the switch back, it'll just keep pumping it into that.
Into there.
And it'll go everywhere.
Right.
So till the balls get to the top.
Yep.
That's that. Back out again. Now you're drawing all that through your lines.
Right.
This stuff's really powerful too, so try not to get it on your hands. It'll burn you.
So is there any indication when it's
clear, when it runs literally like clear water,
so
like that one,
yeah,
it's clear.
This one's pretty
That one's
murky.
not, still got some gold tinge about it. Now we're right. That one's good. Yes, beer going down the sink. It's got chemicals in it now.
Yeah,
so
this wouldn't taste so good.
You'll kill somebody. Ginger beer is the one that's a bit harder because it is clear anyway, but it doesn't take as long. So all that will stay. That'll all sit in the lines, ideally overnight.
Right.
Sometimes you can leave it, like if you haven't done them for ages and you're in a rush, you can do like a 4-hour quick clean, but
all right,
overnight.
So we leave it overnight, and then tomorrow morning, what would we do here?
Tomorrow morning, what you would do is you would grab this, take it out, the detergent out, yep. Would go back in the water connection.
Yep.
Turn the water on. Open up all the taps, go back on. Open them all up and flush at least 5, 6, up to 10 buckets of water through each tap.
Yep.
What you do is when you're washing it off, you fill the water, and if it's still silky to touch, it's still got chemical in it.
So 5 buckets each tap. Right.
At least, yep.
Water
Shane knows how to do that part though. He
Yep.
knows how to flush them out, because I usually do them on the night time. He'll come in on a Tuesday and flush them out.
Yep.
Yep. So this thing comes out.
Then it will simply put your kegs out from the
Yep,
wall.
all these out from the wall, back in,
in.
back in, back in, back in, back in. Your gas connection.
Which is just the first bottle.
Yep, which
first
just
keg.
goes, yep.
Yep.
Yep. And then it should just all pump normally.
No worries.
And I'll take all these off. These aren't too dirty because I only did the lines a week and a half ago, but you get all yeast build up in there. So all inside these needs all cleaning, which you've got residual chemical in the lines that have come out anyway.
Yep.
So like all under here gets washed. All these black seals here, all frayed. I can see that that one's already frayed, so I change those out. I just either get something, flick them off, and all the spare seals are all in here. If you ever need to take these off, the Allen key for these, because you can get build up behind them as well, so you can take all these off.
Yep.
Scrub all behind there. And I just leave these in here overnight too. Change the seals in the morning and put them all back on.
So you just rinse them off in the sink?
Yep. Yep, just in water. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
And that's
That'll
it?
just sit there, yep. And that temperature under there will keep rising, so all this ice and everything will fall off during the night time too.
Okay,
which doesn't matter. If you ever come in to flush the lines the next morning and the lines haven't been warm enough and it has frozen in the line, all you do is get buckets of hot water and pour it over this. Just keep pouring it until beer runs through the taps.
And now the thermostat back here, you'll reach behind.
So tomorrow when you reconnect your beer, after you've flushed all the water through, buckets, and you think it's all the solution's gone, reconnect your beer, turn your taps on until beer comes through. Now it'll come through like ice cream, but that's beer.
Yep.
Turn your taps off, then turn your temp right back on.
Okay, so
Yep.
this. Where am I feeling?
Down there's like a little knob. Back further, just there. Yep.
Oh, so it's
Yep.
just that you just turn it all the way on.
So then you're going to go
But away from me.
anti-clockwise. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. It's just
Yep.
so it's just an on-off.
Yep.
Yep.
That's it. You don't need to turn the power off to this. You don't need to muck around with any of the switches. Yeah. Just make sure that don't turn that on until after your beers come through and you've turned the taps back on. Because if you turn that on, it'll start to freeze it in the lines because it'll be too cold.
Yep.
So, and that takes about half an hour or so for it to get cold again. And you just keep watching the temperature. But Shane does know how to do that part for me. So
Cool.
At least that's something.